Hello everybody, this is Dan from Dan Scale Model Creations, and this is a how-to video on making rear fenders for your big rig. So if you're involved in the YouTube big rig building group, this might help you out if you want to make your own back fenders, and if you're building a custom truck, then you might want to try this. This is my way of doing it. You can do it a different way. You could probably have 100 different ways of doing this, but this is my way of doing it. It is not for the beginner, for sure. I certainly use some tools that you may not be able to get your hands on, but if you do happen to have these tools kicking around, then this is a great way to do it, and you end up with a pretty good product when you're finished. So I'm just going to show you what you're going to need to do it my way, and we'll get started on actually making them. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some kind of a saw so that you can cut wood and you can make a template. So this is my template that I'm going to use, and you can see that it has marks on it, which are indication marks of where the bottom of the fenders are going to be, and these fit perfectly to my wheels. And in order to make the template, you're going to want to make sure that you take a lot of good measurements of the truck's rear axle positions. Some trucks have different spread on the rear wheels, so you're going to want to make sure that you get your measurements good. If you do any kind of scratch building at all in scale modeling, I strongly suggest you go out and get yourself a Vernier caliper. This is a great tool for getting your measurements and all that stuff, and maybe I'll do a video later on how to use one of these things if you're not familiar with it. I also suggest that you pick up some good small detail files, metal files. You can use sanding sticks like these, but the files work so much better when it comes to actually making your plastic joints and all that stuff flush with each other. So after you have your template and your styrene, so what I use to build mine and what I use to do a lot of the work on my stuff is 3/4 mil styrene, and they come in sheets that are like this. So that's a sheet of styrene there, and once you get it cut to shape, which is what this is, then you can put it on your template. So what I do is I just line it up with one edge of the mark on my pencil line there, and then as I wrap it around, I know that that's centered. So when I let it go, I just have to clamp it in place. So if you have a clamp, these are great little clamps, just quick grip clamps. You put it on and squeeze it so that it's going to hold your plastic in place. And then you make sure that your plastic's nice and straight, so just pinch it off without squeezing the clamp too tight. And you want to make sure that your plastic's nice and tight and that it wraps down around to the pencil marks on both sides, which is what this does. Okay, but as you can see, this just springs back up. So we've got to find a way to be able to mold this so that it actually stays down. So what I'm going to use to do that is a heat gun. Very carefully. This will melt the plastic in a split second, so you've got to be really careful. Use this like you would use your airbrush, right? So just keep moving it, keep moving it. You'll start seeing the plastic start to mold and shape into the shape of the mold that you have or that you made, and it'll turn out great. But be very careful. These will start a fire. They get super hot. Be careful when you set them down that you're not setting it down on something that's going to melt or burn. Some of them come with little stands, but just be really careful with these if you're going to use it. This particular one goes up to 842 degrees Fahrenheit, so very hot. Blow dryers will not work. Most blow dryers are 1500 watt, and they will not get hot enough to bend that styrene. So I'm going to start, and I'll do one side and show you what it's like. So you're just going to keep moving the gun. It's going to get loud when I turn this on. But just keep moving the gun. Don't hold the gun still. Keep moving the gun. And you'll start seeing that plastic get soft, and it'll just start moving all by itself. I'll come a little closer here. moving that gun. Don't stop. See that plastic bending? So that bent down. Just keep making it soft. Don't stop yet. Keep making it soft. Okay, so now that that's soft, set that gun down carefully. Make sure you have a block or something that you can bring this around and get that into shape, because you're not going to be able to touch that plastic. The plastic's going to be too hot to touch. So I'll hold it in shape with this block of wood for a second. Just let it cool down. So just be patient. Be patient. Okay, so that took that shape nicely. So now I'll go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Take your time, keep that gun moving. I'm probably about 4 inches away. Keep it moving. There it goes, starting to bend, get soft. Getting soft. Keep it going. Okay, set that down, take your block, come across the top, down the face, and hold it. Now just hold it there. Patience is a virtue. We all build models, so we know what it's like to wait, right? You gotta wait for that glue to dry, you gotta wait for the paint to dry, you gotta wait for this to get cold again so that it holds its position. Okay, so that one took its position well. I'll go back to the other side again and just do it quick. You can sort of see where it's off just a touch. I'm just going to do up in the top corner. Keep that gun moving. Don't stop it. Don't hold it in one spot. That down, come off the top and come down the face, and then hold that there. So hopefully everybody's having a good day. Kind of wish I had some Jeopardy music played in the background or something, but that's molded really well to that mold. You can take off your clamp, set that aside, take off your fender. Now you have a molded fender. So you can do a few things with this. You can actually use this just like this. You can put some detailed ribs across the top. So if you want to use, here's a piece of styrene, which is a 1.5 mil by 1.5 mil square. You can use that to detail this along the outside edge. You can buy thinner styrene if you want to do the ribs. So you can use this as a fender all by itself, and you can put that on the back of your truck. So that can go on the back of the truck just like that. Or if you want to go a little bit further, and this is where you're going to get into some more technical measurements, and you're going to really want that vernier caliper for getting those measurements, you can build an outside portion, and you can go from this to this. And now what I ended up with here is an actually fully enclosed rear fender for the truck. So this is going to go on the truck, and my wheels are going to be up inside like that, and it'll give me a nice detailed fender for the back of or the rear of the truck. So not that difficult to make. Excuse me. The toughest part is doing the measurements so that you get a nice, you can see that, I think you can see it, yeah. So you can see the pencil marks here where this is for the fender that I just made. This will get cut out, and this will be my insert for my fender, and I'll end up with a nice set of rare fenders for the truck itself. This isn't that difficult. If you have a bandsaw, perfect. If you're a younger follower and your dad or your granddad or somebody has a bandsaw, get them to whip you up one of these jigs and you'll have it forever, so you'll be able to use it for doing all kinds of stuff. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with mixing two hobbies. So if you're a woodworker like I am and a scale model, or you work with styrene, mixing the two hobbies, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So that's how I do mine. You end up with all kinds of options to be able to do stuff. You can use these a quarter as well, so you can just use the back half if you wanted to make fenders that just went from there back around, and then you could put that on the rear or the front. You've seen some pictures on Google that trucks have those on them as well. Hopefully this helps you guys out when it comes to doing your rear fenders. And like I said, you can go online, you can find supply places that sell these, and I don't know, like 20 bucks a set or something like that. I'm not sure what they cost. That set there probably cost me, oh, I don't know, I'm going to say pennies, because it's a little piece of styrene out of a whole package that really didn't cost that much in the big picture. That's it. Hopefully it helps you guys out. If you have any questions, ask below. Be sure to follow. Be sure to give me a like, and keep building. Have fun. We'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now.